Okay, hi. So today we're talking about a year-long reading challenge that I am going to be partaking in, and I'm just going to be talking a little bit about how I'm going to be partaking. So it is called the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. It was made by Stephanie at QWERTY. So I learned about this on Margaret Pinard's channel, and she went through a very detailed account of how she is going to be participating. I do not plan on participating in everything. I thought about this for a while because I love a good year-long challenge, and I haven't done one in a long time, and I like things that kind of like get me out of my comfort zones in my reading. So I decided I wanted to participate. Okay, so backing up. What makes a reading challenge fun, or what makes any challenge fun? So for me, the challenge has to spark joy, and it has to be in some capacity achievable. And I got a lot of joy at the idea of doing this, but it's just more books than I will ever read in a year at the reading pace I currently do. So it wouldn't have been achievable, and some of the prompts didn't make me feel anything. So, I was watching the announcement video, and then I was pondering it for a little bit, and I was like, the point of it is to get you out of your comfort zones and to have fun and to actually be challenging. And so I decided that I am going to do a truncated version of it. So there's a lot of challenges. I'm going to go through them all, and I'm going to go through my levels of participation. So there's some that I'm going to actively participate in, I'm going to attempt to do, and those are like my main goals. And then there's some that I'm going to passively participate in, things where like if they happen, they happen, but like if not, it's like not a big deal. And then there's some that I'm just like not going to try to do. And then there's some where I'm like on the fence. Like I haven't quite made a decision yet. So let's roll through it. I am not going to go over the whole challenge because it's the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, which also means it's one of the more complicated things to explain. But if you watch the video that I'll have linked below, she goes over everything. There's spreadsheets that you can use, like there are other resources to figure out what the challenge actually is. So the challenge started in mid-July. I learned about it in late July, so I started participating then. Read a 500 plus page book in a day. I might do this. I'm on the fence about it. It sounds like it could potentially be fun, but like I would have to like try to find a day and actually commit to that, which maybe I could do over my winter holidays since I have a long time off of work, but we'll see. Like there's a chance I'm going to do it, but I'm not like committed to the concept. Okay, the next one is the Complete the A to Z challenge, which is just like reading a book for every letter of the alphabet. If I passively participate, cool. If not a big deal. Find a book with 3 or more blurbs and read the books from each of the blurbed authors as well as the one you picked. Okay, this one I'm going to do. This sounds really fun. I have no idea what I'm going to use yet, but I like that concept because I've always thought about doing that of like, if I liked this book, would I like the people that blurbed it? This will be a fun challenge to see if I actually do. Okay, garage sale, find 3 books and read them. This one I might passively participate in. Like she said in it, it doesn't necessarily have to be a garage sale, but it can be like not a used bookstore, but like a thrift store or something. I thrift a lot of my books, so there's a good chance that I will like do this by proxy. So passively, I'll probably achieve this. 5 books from 5 author tubers. So this one would be a potential. It's a stretch goal. The person who made this challenge is an author tuber. Margaret Pinard is an author tuber. I do not actively participate a lot in AuthorTube. I don't really like watch videos. I don't know like a lot of people who author books. I do watch some channels that do, but I don't know. I'm of like a mixed opinion of this challenge and participating because one of the goals is to review the books in spaces. And this channel is called ellethinks. The goal is to be honest on the channel. I feel weird watching author tubers interacting with booktubers who write books who kind of make them author tubers as well a little bit. and then like reading their book and not really liking it. It's a fear I have. Like I've read bigger booktuber like Daniel Green's book and like rated it poorly, but like Daniel Green doesn't care about my channel, so I don't know. I'm on the fence on this challenge because of like the relationship that you have with author tubers as a booktuber as opposed to an author, if that makes sense. Read an entire series with 4+ books in it. So if it's like a 14-book series, you have to read all 14 books. I will definitely do this. I read a lot of series. That should not be a problem. Read 5 books that you saw recommended by 5 small booktubers. They're defining small booktuber as booktubers under 5,000 subs. This is a majority of the booktube channels I watch, so I will have no problems participating in this. As it stands, I've probably already read 5 books that Mariana has recommended to me in some capacity. So yeah, this will be very, very easy to accomplish. I'll read books that are recommended by different people, and I will probably also read books that people have actually recommended I read in my comments or like in comments that I've done on other people's channels where they're like, oh yeah, I do think you'll like this book. So a little bit closer to a recommendation than just seeing someone recommend it. Read 5 books either set in or by an author that is from 5 different countries, excluding US, UK, and Canada. I will definitely participate in this. I have tons of books that represent all different parts of the world, so I should be able to knock this one off. Complete the queer rainbow. It's just like colors on the front of books. I passively, maybe, but not actively trying to. The 5 books with lowest rating on your TBR, on your Goodreads or Storygraph TBR list. I am going to attempt to do this one, except I am going to narrow it down to the 5 books that I own that have the lowest ratings instead of like on my Goodreads TBR. I'd like to get books off of my shelves where possible, so I want to do a narrowed version of this. An indie book you bought directly from the author and reviewed on Amazon and Goodreads. So as in you didn't buy the book on Amazon, you bought it through the indie author. I will attempt to do this one as well. I am not super versed in indie publishing, so this one will require a little bit more effort on my part. Find a local author section at an indie bookstore and read one of the books. I will do this one. I have multiple indies in the area that spotlight local authors. I actually have a feeling that they'll spotlight Albany, which I've had on my TBR forever, and I own it, and I always end up not reading it because, I don't know, part of me is like, learn about Albany, like this is where you've lived for the past 10 years, and then the other part of me is like, I never liked books like this, so maybe this will finally push me to do it. Okay, read books that spell your full name. This is one of the kind of like map it all together, is like the A to Z challenge, the queer rainbow, now the full name. This one I plan on doing. I think it's fun. I don't have many like unavailable letters in my name. There's a lot of E's, there's a lot of L's, so this should be easy. Okay, read 5 books from a previous SPFBO that were not finalists or winners. These are indie fantasy books. I see a lot of people following this every year, and I have never done so, so I'm definitely interested in getting better acquainted with indie fantasies. So I will be doing this one. Next one, read a completed webcomic. I will not be participating in this. I have no interest in comics. A new release, read in the month it is released for every month of the challenge. I'm going to be participating in this one, but with a caveat. So the challenge itself is that if the book is released July 28th, then you have to read it by July 30th. I will not be doing this. If the book is released July 28th, I will be giving myself until like August 27th. So I will be giving myself the month to read it, not just a few days. Okay, read a book published in your birth year that was in the top 10 bestsellers of that year. I will not be participating in this. I have done research into this. They all look terrible. 1993 was not a good year for books. I don't know what the people were up to, but it was nothing good. So this one's a no for me. Okay, next one. Complete a 24-hour reading challenge and finish 3 books. Minimum, 1 book must be a novel over 300 pages. Again, kind of like the 500 plus in a day one. I might do it. We'll see if I feel inspired at some point in the winter to like binge through this or binge and do something like this. It may happen. Okay, the next one, read a book that features a recipe that is not a recipe book and make said recipe. I don't plan on participating in this. I just don't read a lot of books with recipes in them, and I don't really want to hunt one down for the sake of this. So it's a no. Complete the genre challenge. I will be doing this. There aren't many genres on the list, so it seems easy enough for me. Read a book that you backed on a Kickstarter, and I will be participating in this. I still have one of the books from the Brandon Sanderson Kickstarter that I haven't read, so that's going to be an easy one. Complete the Rainbow Challenge. Again, it's not happening. Next one, read a classic and an adaptation of it. I will definitely be doing this one. I have watched very few classic adaptations, so it'll be interesting as I read through maybe a Jane Austen to watch an adaptation. Maybe this will be the year I finally read Pride and Prejudice or something, because there's a lot of different adaptations to choose from for that. We'll see. Okay, next one. Read 3 books with protagonists whose names are people you know, and you can also include yourself. So I'm going to try to participate in this one. It is kind of wild how few names you read in books are real names you see in real life. And then I saw this challenge, and then I started reading a book, and the protagonist's name was Elle, which has never happened before, and I thought that was really funny. I kind of have DNF'd that book, but maybe I'll go back to it. But I will be participating in this. And then read a book for every season in the said season. Maybe. It's it might happen. I don't really that's not something that I care much about in terms of matching the setting to the current vibe, or matching the weather in the book to the weather. I don't really care what season it is in the books I'm reading, so it's not something I want to figure out before I dive into a book unless it's very obvious. But coming up on fall, and I don't have anything prepped for that. So that's all I have for this video. That's how I'm going to be participating. I'll probably do a few check-ins through the year since I'm not doing wrap-ups anymore, just to kind of see where I'm at and kind of give maybe mini reviews of how I felt about the books that I read, and see how this has inspired pushing the boundaries of my reading taste. So that is all I have for this video, and until next time, happy reading.